morning. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I am setting a timer for 10 minutes because it normally takes me about 5 minutes to do my makeup, but since I'm maybe yapping during this time, it may take a little longer. Anyway, I just shared my morning routine. I take a shower and I do my skincare, my body care, all of that. So I've already done that. I'm also currently trialing like a bunch of little, I'm using a bunch of little samples for my perfume. So I'll use that body spray and then I will layer on something. So I just layered on this little sample. I have a lot of little samples. Anyway, happy Monday. It is March 17th. It's our cousin's birthday. Shout out to him. It's also St. Patrick's Day. We kind of celebrated this weekend. But today I'm doing not kind of celebrated, we definitely did. Today I'm doing a day in the life of a school social worker. And before we get into that, I'm using Sephora Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. And this is why this is going to take me longer. Full Coverage Concealer in 34.5N. Is that a thing? I don't know. I got a Sephora gift card for my birthday. And I went and let them do a color match and all that. And that's what they came up with. So anyway, I'm about to do a little makeup. On Mondays, I have this here. Y'all remember this? I've had this for like 100 years. I've had this for like 10 years, literally. Shout out to Ulta. I got it from Ulta. And I just changed the batteries. I think it's Conair. I don't know. I got it forever ago when I first got into makeup. Anyway, happy Social Work Month. It is March, so it is Social Work Month. School Social Work Week, National School Social Work Week was, I think, the first week in March. So shout out to me. I am going to take you guys along today for a day in the life of, like I said, a school social worker. Here's the caveat. The caveat, I'm going to try to do this without looking at the camera. So don't think I'm being weird. I'm just going to try to talk and yap without making eye contact, you know? The caveat here is that there are actual job titles and roles for school social workers. Like, you can literally go to, a public school job board or any school job board that has school social workers, of course, and try to find a school social work job. If you were to do that, all of the jobs and the job descriptions pretty much the same. You would likely do some individual and group counseling with students who struggle, socially, emotionally, or behaviorally, but you would probably do a lot more. You might be the school's homelessness liaison. You might be writing IEPs or you might do a lot more than what I do. All of that to say, I just do like one snippet of what an actual school social worker would do. I am a social worker who is employed by the public school system, and I only do the counseling piece. I do some other elements of social work, like linking, sorry if I'm talking fast, I'm trying to get out of here on time, linking people to resources and children and families, students and families, and stuff like that. But for the most part, I mainly just do the counseling piece. That is what I have been hired to do. There are 5 of us, and we split up all of the schools in the district. There are like 40-something schools, so we each have like 8 or 9 schools. What else was I coming here to say? I'm just gonna take you guys on the path, but currently I'm just yapping about, what to expect for today and like what I do of sorts, rather than talking about what I'm going to do exactly. When I get to work, I'll probably figure out what my exact routine will be for today. But for the most part, my week looks pretty much the same. And I'm currently going in, y'all know I still got this. This is my true complexion color palette in medium to dark this is how far I've made it, to do a little contour bronze tour situation. I do contour my nose a little bit just to add like some dimension and some color to it. Not because when you're contouring, you're trying to make something appear smaller usually. And I don't really care for my nose to appear smaller necessarily. I just feel like it adds a good bit of dimension. So that's what I'm doing. And then lastly, I will add something here. I don't use foundation, if you cannot tell. I used to. I'm not opposed to it, but I haven't used it in years. And in my head, I'm preserving my skin. Am I actually doing wonders for my skin? I don't know, you guys. You won't know if you are going to see long-term impacts for certain things unless it's long-term. And so I just won't know. Look at me hanging on to this blush for dear life. This is the Sephora palette. This is in Sweet Pea 01. They probably don't even sell this anymore. I'm trying to use the last bit of it. But you just won't know until you're down the line, you know? Just gonna throw on a little blush. I'm going in with the Master Chrome in 100 Molten Gold. This was a lot of these were like staples like 10 years ago, I feel like, but I'm out the makeup game, so I don't know what's cool and what's not really. I do have this eyebrow pencil, which I don't like. I just bought it because it was a few dollars. It's the e.l.f. in Deep Brown. Yeah, this is the struggle. Can you even see that? Today is a super normal day. Literally, I'm going to one school. I'm gonna stay there all day. My plan is to see students from like 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and do administrative tasks and such with the rest of the time. And I have my schedule based on the times that I am allotted to see my students. I can see them during certain class periods, I guess, if you will. This is the last product I'm going in with. This is Revlon's Big Bad Lash, which I did not buy. I got it in a Pinch Me box from Pinch Me. They sent me like a little box for free, and so I use it. I'm wiping off some of the excess because I just want to go in with like a light coat. I'll do administrative tasks and such for the rest of the time, and yeah, today's not that exciting. Normally I'm going to multiple schools, because if you have as many schools as me, because people are like, how do you go to 8 schools in 5 days, you know, Monday through Friday? And I'm like, well, as you can imagine, I have to double up. And Monday's the only day that I go to one school. Tomorrow, I'll go to 2 schools, maybe 3. I have to look at my schedule. I know I have a meeting. I got to see if it's at one of the normal schools that I go to or not. I don't schedule any meetings usually, maybe like 1 per school year. So any meeting that I go to is on behalf of one of my students or one of my potential students, but it's not a meeting that I have scheduled, because there's really nothing to talk about with counseling. You know, if you go to therapy as an example, or let's say you take your child to therapy, it's very uncommon that you and the therapist will be having a bunch of meetings, right? Because there's no need. Same kind of phenomenon, a similar phenomenon. Of course, you need to take your kid to counseling, and of course, they would check in with you. They might have some family sessions, but if you're not having family sessions, you know, short of just checking in and letting you know how it's going, that's about all she wrote. We obviously can't, it's confidential, so we can't share what's exactly going on or what the students or kids are saying in the session. So I guess what I'm saying is there's really not much to talk about. The only thing to talk about is they're progressing, they're getting better in this area, they're participating, or they're not. You know, there's that, and that can be an email. I'm just kidding. That doesn't require a full-blown meeting. Thus, I do not actually facilitate any meetings. We have 23 seconds. I'm going in with this Sephora makeup setting spray. I don't know much about this. I just got it with the gift card that I had. We literally have 5 seconds left. I'm going to turn off the timer. So, I yapped for 10 minutes straight. Let's move out so we can make it to work on time. Let me go wash my hands and things, and I'll be back. But wait, I love a fun drink, so I bought 3 of these. Kroger has the best fun drinks, healthy drinks if you ask me. All kinds of, they always have just a new fun drink, and I love a drink. So I bought 3 of these. One was strawberry guava. I drank that yesterday. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to have a fun drink like this for today or coffee? This has 5 grams of carbs. That means this one's probably going to be a little bit nasty because it only has 2 grams of sugar. But it's going to be the one I think I want. We're just going to do a fun drink. We're going to take that, and we're going to take our water, which I just filled up and added some ice to it. My lunch is already packed from last night because that's how I get down. A new tripod is my lunchbox, so that's what you guys are sitting on. But whether I have coffee or a fun drink or whatever, I normally just put those in my backpack. This is my badge that I'm going to put on. Put them on either side of my backpack, rather. And then, I'm still a bag lady, but I don't have that many bags. Well, I do have a lot of bags, but I don't have a lot to carry. So now I just have my backpack, my, what is that? Oh my God, did y'all see that? My backpack, my lunchbox, and my purse. So a lot of bags. And I don't know if you guys have seen my new and improved room, but this is it. Isn't she cute? I basically just sold my other bookshelves, purchased those, which added some warmth. And then I brought down other items from different parts of the house. And then, of course, I upgraded my sofa and my desk, but that's because a brand sent me that desk, which is what prompted me to upgrade some other areas so that everything could kind of match and be cohesive. One thing that I've been trying since the last year is listening to audiobooks instead of listening to music. So anytime that I would normally listen to music, I've been listening to audiobooks, which is wild to me, but I have read or listened to so many audiobooks. I'm going to drive to work and I'm going to be listening.
Forget. It was dangerous what Barb was asking of Frank.
I'm going to be listening to Kristen Hanna's The Women. Well, I had to check myself in the regular lighting. This lighting is bad. But anyway, I wanted to show my makeup real quick. Well, I wanted to share my makeup real quick. This is what it looks like in natural lighting. So I did put a little blush on my nose. I don't know, it just gives it like a little something something. It looks like I really put time and energy into my looks when we got to beat this bus. When really I just took 5 minutes to kind of do a little something something, and of course I did my skincare. But that bus is about to loop around and we need to beat it, so let's go.
Just pulled up to the house. Don't feel like getting out. I'ma just lay back.
This is the room that I'm using today. This is the room that I always use when I come here on Mondays. The thing is, I do have a key to this room and all, but I share it with other people. So if I'm not here on Monday, then other people are probably in here. So yeah, that's why I have to stick to my strict schedule, because I'm not gonna be scrambling trying to find a space, a private space to hold these counseling sessions. So I just stick to my schedule. All of that to say, I just stick to my schedule. Anyway, I have my laptop plugged up there. I've been using a wireless mouse. I have my planner here. This is my hemlock and oak. Oh no, the sun is shining bright. My backpack's here, my purse is here, my phone's here, and my highlighter and pen are there. Those are my favorite little writing utensils. So anyway, I'm just waiting for my 9 o'clock student to get here. Let me flip this around. That sun is going to kill me. But anyway, when I park, I normally just park closest to the front desk, which is like the front, like the main entrance, because that's visitor parking, and you know, I can park there. It's convenient for me to park there. I realize teachers park in different spaces because it's closer to their classrooms, but I have to sign in at the front desk, and most things that I do are at the front desk, so it makes sense for me to park at the front desk, even though I don't actually, my room that I use isn't near the front desk. My badge does get me into the building, so I just scan my badge. The front office ladies know that I would like for them to sign me in. Some schools I can sign myself in, others the secretaries have to sign me in. So she was like, you want me to, you know, good morning, you want me to sign you in? Yes, sign me in. And then I came here. I do have a key to this room, opened it up, put my stuff down, went to put my lunch up, and now I'm back here. Before I even left the house, I emailed my first student's teacher to ask if she could send him to me at 9 a.m. So I do have a session at 9 a.m. that I'm waiting to begin. I don't have anything planned for this session because he is a student that I don't have to plan for, because we will be able to do good counseling. I'm not here to like share exactly any specific details, but let's just say, suffice it to say, he's not a student that I have to really plan and prep for, because as he is sharing some of his struggles, or as we're just kind of naturally talking, lots of opportunities come up for me to really just challenge his thought processes and his behaviors, and we just kind of do it that way. We don't have to have any like set thing. Plus he's doing really well. He hasn't been written up for anything for years. He's just still struggling in the area of socially and emotionally, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Let me get a little bit more prepped before he gets here. Also, I told y'all this would not be that good because it basically has no sugar in it and it tastes like it. It's kind of tart, but look at all this good stuff that it has, you know? I'm using this printer as a makeshift tripod. I'm tired. I just went on a wild goose chase for a student. I couldn't find him. Anyway, let's catch you up, shall we? So I had a 9 o'clock. He got here like 9:05. Like I mentioned, I texted emailed his teacher, who I'm cool with, which is why I did it, to tell her, or kind of like to tell her to remind him of our appointment for today. Because here's the thing, when my students are on my calendar, their days and times are the exact same every single week. Here's the caveat. The caveat, like this week, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meetings. So I have to do all of my the plan is for me to do all of my regular scheduled sessions with my students, which there are I have almost 30 students, I think. So I'm going to do all of those. On top of that, I have, like I mentioned, however many meetings I just mentioned. And then I'm also planning to do 3 observations for 3 different kids this week. And then in addition, I have a PLC. So we have a half day for students on Wednesday, but then that means that all the teachers and staff, we have to do like trainings and professional development and stuff like that. So I'm attempting to see all of my students across 8 different schools, go to all of these different meetings, and do all of these other things. So moral of the story is I try to schedule my students for the exact same time each and every day. But if I get invited to a meeting, or if I have something else to do that prevents me from going to meet with them at our regularly scheduled time, of course I let them know by emailing their teachers to say, hey, I'm not going to be there today, or I'm going to be there late, or whatever the case is. But sometimes I literally it throws off my whole schedule. So whereas I attempt to see that student, let's say, every Monday at 9, it doesn't happen. If I'm sick, if there's no school, if I'm on vacation or whatever, like if I'm on vacation or if it's planned, of course I'll let them know. I always let them know at the end of each session, like when the next time is that we're scheduled to meet. But again, if I get a last minute invite to a meeting or something, it just kind of jacks up my whole system. So that's the plan. We'll talk a little bit more about how I'm going to go about my week in a minute, but let's talk about my first session. So I had emailed the teacher to remind him to come to me at 9. So he made it to me around 9:05, a little bit late. And I told you he's a student who I don't actually have to prepare for. He talks a lot. He's very insightful. He's receptive to feedback. He is quite literally the perfect candidate for counseling. So much so that he actually has probably completed his work with me, and I will probably be suggesting that we remove counseling services at his next meeting. I could schedule a meeting and call a meeting to remove the services now if I wanted to, but that doesn't really make any logical sense. He's been on the brink of being dismissed for at least a year or more. We've just been still working together because he could still use some support, but he mainly needs home support. So he really needs an outside therapist. He doesn't need this service. This service is reserved for students who are struggling severely, and there are criteria for that. But that there is a way that we identify who meets the criteria, but we're not talking about that today. That we would be here all day. But if you're wondering, he has a goal that we work towards, and that goal is that basically, I'm going to make it short because the way that these goals are written is long and drawn out and just kind of confusing. But basically, his goal is that he will learn to use self-regulation strategies and will engage appropriately with peers 100% of the time with no verbal aggression, improving from 2 incidents per quarter to no incidents per quarter. Like I mentioned, he hasn't had any write-ups in 2 school years, even with adjusting to high school and all of that. So he has accomplished this goal. So when we meet again, we naturally have to meet again for an IEP review, I think at the beginning of the next school year. So I will propose removing services then. But I'm going to tell you now, and you guys can hold me accountable. This is the type of student or client who I could work with forever. Again, because he has personal struggles, but he doesn't have he has home struggles rather, but he doesn't have an outside therapist, and hasn't in a couple years. And honestly, I think I've been filling in the gap for that. He doesn't have any behavioral issues currently, and hasn't for several years, since middle school. So anyway, he's one of those kids who I could just work with and meet with literally forever, and I would never get tired of it, never. But that's actually unethical. And so if he has completed his work with me, it's time for me to release him. We talked, I literally have to kick him out. So we wrapped up at 9:30. Otherwise, when I tell you he could sit in here and we can talk all day, I truly mean that. We have to cut ourselves off, so I sent him packing after 30 minutes. I went to get my next student from class. Sometimes I'll ask the teachers to send the students to me, but that's really only if it's convenient. And for this student that I went to go get just now, it's not convenient because he's literally right downstairs and it takes me 2 seconds to get to him. But he's not here. So he is on my calendar. I am going to change, I'm just going to mark on my calendar that he is absent, and that will let me know if ever I want to know next week or next year, if we met today or whatever, I will know. Also, when I go to type my notes for today, I will type it in the system that he was absent. I just like to, even if I'm absent for a good reason or my students are absent, I like to have a paper trail of we didn't meet this week and this is why. I technically don't have to meet with my students weekly, but it just kind of helps me to keep everything organized. So marking him absent here will also help me in the long run with doing my notes, or like I said, if ever I want to just look back and see what was happening, or when I do my mileage at the end of the month or the beginning of the new month, I always look back to see where I went. And so it's just helpful to know that I didn't see him because of X, Y, or Z reason, or I didn't see him or her for whatever reason. Okay, next up, I have a student who is medically homebound. What this means is that if they are feeling up to it, they can come to school and go to their classes. If they are not, they actually will join their classes virtually. And this is due to mental health issues. So medically homebound due to mental health struggles. I was emailing her to see if she was here, which she doesn't really come at all. And she says she's not here. But she also says she has a session with her outside counselor today at the same time that we're supposed to meet. So she's not here. The plan is for us to meet via Teams, aka virtually. I emailed her. She said that she does have a meeting with her outside therapist, which is also virtually, but that she would still be happy to join our session at a later time. So what I told her is that I will just move it to 11 o'clock. And so after she gets off of her other counseling session, she can join with me and we will have our session at 11. She's new to my caseload. So we're kind of just getting to know one another. I didn't know that she had counseling at 10 a.m. with her outside therapist. I've never, had this issue before. So I didn't know if she'd want to do 2 counseling sessions, but she said yes. So I'm just going to change her session. It's a recurring session. It happens every week at the same time. I'm going to change this event, only this one, to 11 a.m. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm up to. I got 15 minutes or so before the next class. I might do some notes now. But for the most part, all of my kids are kind of working on the same stuff, which is emotional regulation, basically. So coping skills. They're pretty much all working on the same thing. So I don't have to tell you what all these kids are working on. Just know that that's pretty much what they're all working on. Then I'm going to take a lunch. And then I am going to meet with the student. I have to meet with him by 1:25 because he goes to lunch at 1:25. And then I have one student who I cannot see. And I'm seeing my students when it's most convenient per their schedule. Not when I want to, when I feel like it. I stick to the schedule that works for them. So I see them during the least restrictive class. So the last student of the day, I have to see at 2 p.m. And he'll be my last client for the day. So that's kind of what I'm up to. I've seen one student so far. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 to go. I anticipate that all of my kids will be here. Conveniently, my coworker just texted me. One of my students randomly relocated to another school within the district. And when that happens, assuming we have a good rapport with the students, we will go and facilitate a transition session at the new school with their new counselor. So if a student has this service, just because they move schools doesn't mean it goes away. It just means they'll have a new counselor and they will then meet with the counselor who's assigned to their school. So I just went to do a transition session for him, I think in January, and she just texted me that that student at that school said hello. So that's cute. I'm gonna love that. And then I'm gonna say, tell him I said hi and I hope he's doing well. What else do we have to do today? We have to do that and then that's it. I was going to share how I'm using my planner. So I think I'll do that. And then honestly, I get on here and I have my plans of, I have plans of doing these day in the life videos, but TBH, they kind of are a little bit boring of sorts, because I just feel like I can't share anything super confidential. I can't share the sessions, or, like, I can sometimes share. I'm gonna share one resource with y'all. How about that? I feel like that might be helpful. We recently just got free subscriptions to this website called Therapist Aid. I will link it down below. We literally just got it. And so I've been looking around on here, and there are worksheets, there are like interactives and videos and articles and topics and all kind of stuff. And so we literally just got it. So I have been using this as a way to kind of find different activities and stuff to do with my students. Again, it's fresh, so I don't, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Otherwise, there are other websites that I normally use, and I just have some stuff that I've acquired over all of these years. But this worksheet I've been doing with students, it is called Emotional Regulation. It's actually a DBT skill, and which is dialectic behavioral therapy. And obviously that really focuses on like coping strategies and coping with emotions and stuff. But yeah, I can't really share too much. Other social work things that are happening is that after I leave here, I'm going to get my car serviced, and then this evening I am hosting a public networking event for the Financial Social Work Collaborative. If you did not know, I am a financial social worker. That just means that I took this certification course, and I have a certification which allows me to work more effectively with clients who are presenting with financial struggles. And in 2024, my social work colleagues and I, 3 of us, there are 4 of us all together, we started what is called the Financial Social Work Collaborative. I will have that link down below the website. Currently, you can join and get a free membership and get access to some resources and some discounts and some free events and webinars and things like that. So I'll have that link down below. If you have to be a financial social worker or in the process of becoming certified, and you do have to submit that to our COO, and she verifies all of that. But every quarter we have a public networking event, and this is actually open to the public. When you're seeing this, it'll be too late, unfortunately. But if you're interested in learning about the collaborative or financial social work, or just chatting with fellow professionals, financial professionals, then I recommend joining one of our public networking events, which happens quarterly. But I am hosting the one for this evening. A little bit weird because it's St. Patrick's Day, but whatever. So that's happening today, and I will host that this evening. Other social work related things is that next week I'm going to Charlotte for a financial social work collaborative spring retreat. We had our first retreat in the fall, and our plan is to have them semi-annually, and we're calling it a retreat. The first one we did in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'll be honest, we went to Birmingham because I'm in Georgia. My other colleague who's a part of the collaborative, the other co-founder, is in, one of the other co-founders is in South Carolina. One of the other co-founders is in California, and then one of the other co-founders is in Alabama. But she is the only one with small children. So in an effort to make this happen, we just went to her, close to her. She's somewhere around that area in Alabama. I think a different city, but like Birmingham's the nearest closest city. So we went there for 4 days. We had a time, and we decided we were going to do it semi-annually. So our next one is going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, next weekend, and we're going to get together, do our thing. We're going to meet for the first time in person the founder of Financial Social Work, and we are also hosting a networking mixer in Charlotte on the 29th. I will have the RSVP form down below if you wish to come just chat with us and connect with us. It's just a way for us to just see if there are any financial social workers or even potential financial social workers in the area who want to come meet up with us if they wish. We would have done it in Birmingham, but we didn't really think about it. So we are going to do it in Charlotte, mainly because the founder of Financial Social Work, whose name is Rita, shared that there are a lot of graduates that she knows of who live in Charlotte, and she lives in the Charlotte area. So that's why we're doing it. So we'll have it linked down. I will have it linked down below if you wish to join us. Just fill out the form, and the specific location will be shared after all RSVPs have been returned to us, or after we can get a head count. Although we do have ideas of a few places where we'll go, it just depends on the number of people, because there's no reason to get, you know, some big space when there's 10 of us or whatever. There's already going to be 5, because they're the 4 founders of the Financial Social Work Collaborative, and then the founder of Financial Social Work. That's what's happening next week. Also next week, 2 of the co-founders of the Financial Social Work Collaborative are hosting a master class on pricing, kind of just learning to price yourself accordingly, price your work. They are both licensed clinicians who have private practices, and they are going to be facilitating that master class. If you wish to participate, I will have that information down below. That's next Tuesday, March 25th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's happening. And then I think on Thursday, April the 3rd, I'm going to go to a conference about basically treating anxiety. It's like a workshop. It's like 9 to 5 or whatever. I think I'm going to go to that to get some CEUs and to learn about whatever they're going to be teaching me, something about anxiety or whatever. I don't care. Just teach me so I can get some CEUs, and I love learning about literally anything. I'll probably show my planner real quick, and then I will probably be MIA until lunchtime, for which I'll share my lunch, and then probably just kind of maybe share quick updates about how the rest of the day is going. Okay, I just finished up with my 10:15 client. Remember, I was going to meet with her, and then I'm going to get on a little bit, I don't know where we left off. Long story short, when I couldn't meet with my student at 11 because she has counseling at 11, she thought she had it at 10, I pushed her back to 12:30 p.m. and then obviously not 12:30 a.m. and then I put somebody else in her spot, which I normally flip them, but it's just been a confusing day. So anyway, I just met with her for about 30 minutes. I think I'll do some notes and then eat, and then jump on the call with her, and then do my 1 o'clock session right after her, and then wait until 2 to do my 2 o'clock, I think. Let me plan out my day. I haven't done that for work yet, because I don't know, Mondays I really don't have to plan out, but let me just check my planner. I want to see what was left over from last week that I didn't do, but I feel like that's why I'm not frazzled, because last week I was really working through my to-do list, but certainly there's something I need to do. So let me look at the last week and just kind of plan out this week and just see what I need to be doing this week, technically. While I plan and do whatever, I am going to listen to Kristen Hanna's The Women. So here's my planner. This is the Hemlock and Oak weekly planner, and this is what it looks like. So I just like to write down my weekly tasks. These are things that just need to get done, or I'm looking to get done at some point in the week. Doesn't really matter when it is for real, but as long as I get them done at some point before the end of the week. So I planned out today, if I have a meeting, I will use this clean color dot in gray. It's probably not the real color. Let's see what the real color is called. Platinum 200. Let's go with it. In platinum, to just highlight the hour for which I might have a meeting or some other kind of obligations. Otherwise, I'm just in client sessions. So client sessions all day today. I do technically, since I moved my client's Teams meeting to 12:30, that's an important meeting of sorts. But at any rate, it's just like a student session, so I don't really mark off those. Anyway, that's today. And then I'll do this little line situation and write work at the top to kind of signify my work hours of sorts. Tomorrow I have a meeting at, interestingly enough, it's at one of the schools that I already go to on Tuesdays. That almost never happens, so that's convenient. Then I'll have 2 client sessions at that school after this meeting. One of the meeting is for one of the 2 students I have there. Then I'll leave from that school, go to a different school around 10:30 or 11. I have about 4 or 5 kids to see there. I'm looking 5. One is on an abbreviated day, so he leaves school at like 12:30. So I'm going to prioritize seeing him first, and then I'll see the rest of the students. And then I'll have my lunch, and then I'm going to go to another school, a different school, for this meeting. Or I could potentially join it virtually, but all of my schools are probably within 10 minutes. So if at all possible, I like to attend meetings in person because that makes more sense to me. That's actually what we're supposed to do too, but sometimes it's just difficult to make it, but I try to make it. Anyway, so that's tomorrow. Wednesday, we have an early release. So I'm going to go to one school to do an observation of a potentially for a referral, so a potential new client. Then I have 2 students who I see at that school already, so I'm going to see them after the observation. And when I observe, it's normally like 2 hours, and I normally observe in 2 different classroom settings, like maybe gym and English, or something like that. Then I normally would leave that school and go to a different one where I have a room available to me from 11 to 2 every Wednesday. But the kids are on an early release, which I normally put stuff like that up here at the top. Can you see me right? No, but I'm going to put early release. So they're actually going to be leaving at 11:30, the elementary school kids. So I'm going to try to rush to that school and meet with those students. And because I'm on a time crunch, I could do a group session. Sometimes I do group sessions with them, and then call it a day for student sessions. And then we have a PLC, which is like a professional development scheduled from 1 to 4. And they want us to bring a shareable dish as well. I'm looking at the calendar invite. It has what we're going to do, but it also says bring a shareable dish. So I'll have to do that. And then Thursday will be a regular day. I have an MDR for a client who is a referral. So he's not one of my clients, so I really don't need to prioritize this. But if I can make it, I will. And that's going to be at a different school than what I normally go to on Thursday. So I'll go to that middle school, and then I'll go to the normal middle school that I go to on Thursdays. So sometimes on Thursdays I just stay at one school, but that's often not the case, as in this case. Like, I schedule to do that, but I almost always have some kind of meeting or something on Thursday. So if it wasn't for that meeting, I could actually be at one school all day on Thursday. So I'm going to come back and see my Thursday students. One is on an abbreviated day, so he leaves at 12:30. So I'll need to see him before he leaves. And then Friday, I'm going to go back to the school that I go to usually on Thursdays, because I want to observe 2 of my new clients, or 2 new referrals. I have a lot of referrals, if you can't tell. They normally come at the end of the school year. I don't know why, but it's an odd phenomenon. I actually have probably like 8 referrals that I'm trying to work through. I want to observe 2 kids, but I have 2 meetings in between here. So this observation would take place at the school that I'm going to first on Friday, of course. And then this IEP actually is going to take place at that school. But the IEP meeting at 10:30 is for a referral. And I don't really, of course they invited me, but I don't really need to be there. Once a student is referred, that technically means that I am a part of their team. But I have a 504 that's scheduled at the same time, basically, for a student who actually is on my caseload already. So I think I'll just go to that. The cringy part is I was invited to that first, so I just accepted the invite. Then I got an invite to that, so I'm like, oh shoot, which meeting do I go to now? I think I'll go to the 504. If I do, I'll have to leave that school to go to that meeting and come back. But if I go to the IEP meeting, that's at the same school. And then this observation would be at that same school. So I'm basically gonna either be at one school all day on Friday or 2 schools on Friday. But that's pretty much my week. And any other time that you don't see is just filled with client sessions or sending emails, doing notes, prepping for sessions, or talking to, chatting with guidance counselors, checking in with them, checking in with any parents who I might need to check in with. I don't do that a whole lot. Checking in with teachers, stuff like that. So that's pretty much what my work week looks like. I will write down my daily tasks. Like, let's say tomorrow I'm like, ooh, I really need to, you know, follow up with this parent today. I'll put it on the to-do list for Tuesday. So a completed week. Yeah, I normally don't put confidential information in here on purpose. So a completed week would look like this. Perhaps it's 11:15. I think I'll eat now, or in like 15 minutes maybe. But I'll do that, do my sessions, and then we will wrap up for today. This is my lunch, broccoli cheddar soup from Panera, but it's actually sold in a container at Kroger. So I brought half of it today in my little soup container. A Honeycrisp apple, which is my favorite. It's also pretty expensive, but it's my favorite. String cheese, a strawberry cheesecake, Coke Zero, of course, cherry flavor, and then this is actually like a little half of a sandwich. I think it's like pepperoni and cheese and some other stuff. So anyway, this is my lunch. It's like a struggle meal of sorts, but it's okay. It's actually not terrible, but it's not like one of my preferred. I don't know. I feel like I try to eat like a full dish, you know, not like a bunch of little random stuff. I don't know. That's my preference, but this is what I have for today. Me again. Oh, look. My client started the meeting. She's so on top of it. She started it. It's 12:28. You know, we're supposed to meet at 12:30. And she just started the meeting. I love that for her. So today I was thinking about what I want to chat with her about, because I do not want to do any like specific activity or anything, because we're just building rapport and getting to know one another. I want to possibly chat about a little bit more about her family dynamics and get to know a little bit more about her, and just building rapport, because I really don't know anything about her, truly. So anyway, that's what's about to happen. It's 12:29. She already started the meeting. She's waiting. I'm going to join it and chat with y'all later. Okay, it is 1:26. I just released my student. So I did a virtual session with my client, and we did, I think 30 minutes. Yeah, we did 30 minutes. Yeah, about 12:30 to 1. And then I actually emailed his teacher to tell him to send him to me before I got on the call with her. I was like, can you send him at 1? And the teacher said he wasn't here today, which is so crazy that teachers respond to their emails when they're not at school, unless they're not taking PTO and they're like at a conference or a meeting or something. But I'm like, oh, he's better than me, because I definitely wouldn't respond if I'm on PTO. But he responded, and he said he wasn't here. So I said, okay, I'll just go get him. So I was proud of him, because when there's a sub, he normally will take advantage of that situation, and he wasn't doing that this time. So he turns a year older tomorrow. Yeah, so sometimes when their birthdays have just passed, my students, or they're coming up, I will pull up some questions for their age group and just kind of like, we'll reflect on the past year or talk about set goals for the upcoming year, you know, something like that. So that's pretty much what we did. I love working with him. He's a pleasant kid. And my virtual student, we just chatted a little bit more about family dynamics and what she's working through in her outside counseling or therapy and stuff like that. I updated her, told her I had emailed her teacher to kind of inquire about the accommodations and all of that. So we had a good session. His was about 25 minutes. He goes to lunch at 1:25, so our sessions have to end by 1:25. So anyway, I have a 2 o'clock, so we have about 30 minutes. I will never understand why it was so hot in that building. I just came outside. It's breezy. It's 60 degrees. It was every bit of like 85 degrees in that school. Again, I thought it was just me, but my student, who always has a jacket or whatever, was like, no, it's hot. I was like, girl. Anyway, I had my last session of the day. I actually had emailed the teacher to just remind her and the student that we have a session scheduled for 2 today, which we do every Monday. But I didn't hear back from her, so I just went to get him. Anyway, I'm about to head to my oil change. I don't know how to get there from, like, I know in the back of my head how to get there, but like low-key. When I was with my student, at the end of our session, somebody emailed me from the district, and they were like, good afternoon, I am doing a device audit, and it appears that your primary device is fill in the blank. Please confirm this is your only laptop. I said, that's correct, yada yada. And then she responded and she said, great, you are eligible for a device upgrade. Please use this time to back up your data. We will allocate a new device and have it delivered to you. Where is the best place to send it? Girl, my laptop is on its last leg. It doesn't hold a charge. It's been raggedy since I started using it 3 years ago. So I can get a new device. Okay, I officially home from work and from the dealership. It's 5:30, and I like to think that I have turned off my school social worker brain and I have turned on my financial social worker brain. So while I was at the dealership, though, I was doing a few things that needed to be done for the financial social work side of things. I was looking to see how many responses we have for the Charlotte networking mixer. We were trying to just kind of get a better gauge on how many people are going to be in attendance. So I did that and confirmed that with the team. I also confirmed something else with the team. I am supposed to be proofreading something, and I had it on my to-do list to do it today, so I just was checking in to see if that still needed to take place today. They said it won't be finished today and I can do it tomorrow. So I'm proofreading something for a new upcoming project that we have. Then, what else did I do? Financial social work related. I also was looking at the registrations for tonight's meeting, or the meeting that we're having in 30 minutes. So there were 10 of us scheduled to participate. The last time that I checked, I'm gonna check one last time. It doesn't really matter, because realistically, if somebody registers last minute, they're at liberty to, because we're just having like a casual conversation talking about financial social work and all of that. So it's like, you know, not that big of a deal if people register last minute. So that and then something else that I did, well, I can't remember what else that I did. I'm eating string cheese, but something that I need to do is obviously like prep for the meeting. This one, because it's a quarterly meeting and it's open to the public for people to learn about financial social work, honestly, I'm not going to have any kind of real agenda or plan. It's really just like a Q&A kind of thing. It's nothing super serious, because it's for people who are interested in learning about it. So there would be no need to have it be super structured. It's really just a Q&A session of sorts. So that's going to be happening in 30 minutes. So I don't think I need to prep for that. Just need to start it. But I am currently working on filming my video for Saturday. Obviously, I'll wrap up today's video at some point today, but I need to start filming my video for Saturday. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of that, and then at 5:55 or whatever, I'll go ahead and jump on the Zoom call. So that's what I'm up to. I have about 45 minutes left in my book. I think earlier I had shared that I had like 2.5 hours or something left. So I'm down to like 45 minutes thanks to being at the dealership. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm up to today. So let me check in a little bit. So I'm waiting to start the meeting. It's 5:59. I'll start at 6. There are 2 people in the waiting room, so I am assuming everybody else will come through whenever they come through. That girl is here hanging with me. My husband just went up. So yeah, I'm gonna start this, and I guess I'll leave this running maybe for a few minutes. I don't know, I feel like that might be weird, because then I'll have to turn it off and that'll be awkward. Maybe I can sit right here so you can hear like a little bit of the session. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. There are other people registered for today, but if they roll in, then they roll in. At the Financial Social Work Collaborative, we host these every quarter, and it's basically just like a time where those who might be interested in becoming financial social workers can come to learn, chat, network. I'm just letting you know what this time is reserved for. So it's really just pretty casual, and it's just an opportunity for us to just chat about financial social work. It is 7:30. Sis is tired. Sis has been going all day. Somebody joined the networking call at 7 p.m., which is when I was going to end it. And because of which, I went ahead and answered like a few more questions, and so we ran over 30 minutes. So sis is tired. Sis needs to shower and eat. Probably eat before showering, but like I might as well shower before eating. But like in theory, I should eat first. I don't know. I don't really like eating late, but anyway, my meeting's actually currently converting. Zoom is converting my meeting recording, and then it'll save to my cloud, our cloud, so everyone can access it with the notes and such. So that's happening. I don't need to sit here and wait for it to, I don't need to wait for it to be done. I can move along with my life. But just thought I'd let you know what's happening. So yeah, that's the day in the life of a social worker, a school social worker, and a financial social worker. And I'm beat. In theory, I would go walk at least for like 30 minutes, but I'm tired. I'm about to go to sleep. I have to eat and shower. I feel like by the time I finish with that, it'll be like 8:30. I'm in bed by 8:30 for sure every day. So I feel like I'll be, I feel like if I go walk and stuff, I'll be in bed like 9:30. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but anyway, I think I'm wrapping this up here. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give this video a like, subscribe if you're new and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.